Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode 42, an episode that focuses around Rook's character and him trying to understand why Yuuga decides not to partake in the Go-Hart Rush Duel tournament. So let's start off with Rook then, since the episode does mainly focus around him, and it does follow the same pattern that most Rook episodes seem to follow, as in something happens that he can't understand or comprehend, or he gets overconfident and starts slipping up midway through the duel that he's doing, until something Yuuga related snaps him out of his downed mind state, thus allowing him to make a comeback. And that's pretty much the same formula that we follow here. However, the things outside the duel were actually really interesting. The whole about to punch Yuuga scene, I thought, shows just how much Rook respects Yuuga as a duelist slash rival, as both of them want to become king of duels. And Rook obviously have seen just how good of a duelist Yuuga actually is, and most likely wishes just to partake with him as a friend more than anything. As they wouldn't be dueling each other throughout this tournament, so it begs the question, why did Rook react the way that he did? Well, there could be shades of doubt within Rook's own ability. Maybe he thinks he's not quite good enough to win this tournament without Yuuga. Here's why. Going back to my point about Rook knowing that Yuuga is a strong duelist. A duelist that would be a massive help to any team in winning the tournament itself. Pair this with the fact that after Rook finds out that Yuuga wasn't going to be joining the team, Rook ran off in search for a maximum monster. Yes, Go-Hart are printing these maximum cards, but Rook is a character that I think could be anyone if he's in a good mindset and it's a one-on-one situation, just based off his own dueling record. So Rook actually getting angry at Yuuga not going into this tournament because he knows just how helpful and how good of a duelist Yuuga is, and then running off to find a maximum, which again would give him a big advantage, just shows that maybe there's a small hint of doubt going into Rook's own ability. As well as the fact is, you compare this with the fact that in most Rook episodes it's been Yuuga who has given Rook the confidence to overcome his dilemma in order to make that comeback and win the duel in the end. So if he thinks that Yuuga's not going to be around to give him that emotional support, maybe that adds to it as well. Now, like I said, him running off to find maximum monsters and cards, it did confuse me a little bit, as I don't think Rook would need it. Granted, Go-Hart has probably got teams within the tournament that they've hand-selected themselves, and they're most likely going to have maximum monsters, so I can see why Rook might need them for that respect if he's thinking long-term, and if he's thinking about the enemy teams that are approaching him. But at the same time, I can't see Go-Hart giving each of the 3 members of their team a maximum monster each. So I'm not going to realistically think of a situation where Rook, Roman, and Gakuto are each going to be facing a maximum monster and getting squashed. I don't see that happening in the slightest. If anything, it's going to be the leader of Go-Hart's chosen selected team that has maximum, and the other 2 are just going to be strong duelists that would back him up and be a support. So, with this tournament being a 3-person team, we don't know this confirmed yet, but it could also be a best out of 3 format. So if one person has maximum but the other team doesn't, then, the other team just has to win 2 duels. And then the person with the maximum obviously wins theirs. Not a big deal. Plus, that line where Rook states that he has tamed his devil was really cool. And it shows that the writers haven't forgotten about that plot thread. So hopefully we'll expand on that a little bit more in the future. But that's all for Rook's character right now. So I thought that the structure of the episode was well written, as it gives you, as the audience, time to think about Yuuga's reasoning before they just outright reveal the answer. The answer was really fitting for Yuuga's character as well, and follows what we've seen Yuuga display so far, as he just wants Roman, Gakuto, and Rook to all have a chance at following their own dreams and paths within this tournament. Yes, a very typical Yuuga type of move, as he's always been portrayed as a smart and selfless character, always trying to help others reach their dreams/goals. So I liked the way that they went about this situation, and the reason as to why they gave it to him. Now, after rewatching episode 41, I did notice Yuuga's reaction after the tournament was announced. His face wasn't that excited. Instead, he was deep in thought, almost looking skeptical. Plus, he doesn't contribute to the conversation that Rook, Roman, and Gakuto was having in this episode as to what Gohar's motives could possibly be. Instead, he was just happily playing and working on his roads. So has Yuuga already figured out the ulterior motive behind Gohar? Or better yet, a little bit of a quick theory. Did Yuuga give Mimi that plan to destroy Rush Jewels that we saw at the start of episode 41? But the reason as to why he gave her that is because it's all a setup, all a plan, in order to help Rook, Roman, and Gakuto further along in their dreams and goals and paths they want to travel down. I can see Yuuga kind of doing that, making it so that Gohar would think that they're destroying Rush Jewels with this tournament, but actually it's giving him and his friends a platform to go after their own dreams and to get a bit more freedom. Interesting. Now, as for the Space Club, they really did not interest me very much, which is a shame, because the guy Dueling used two things that I particularly really love. And that, of course, is space and turtles/tortoises. But those card designs were nightmarish. Definitely not a fan of that archetype. However, the playstyle was really unique and interesting. I don't remember ever seeing a deck that works in lowering your opponent's levels to give yourself an advantage. So that aspect of the duel I thought was really fun and really unique and interesting, which I've admitted I've already said again, but we'll go with it. Plus, the confirmation that two duelists can have field spells on the field simultaneously was a great piece of information that was given to us within the realms of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. As an old school card returned once again in the form of Mountain. Yes, that was a field spell card that Rook used, but he used it at the same time that the field spell known as Outer Space was in play, and it did not destroy Outer Space once it hit the field, so I like the fact that they've updated that to work with the main up-to-date Yu-Gi-Oh! Format. As far as I'm aware, they have. Yeah, because it works in games that way, so I'm pretty sure it works in real life that way as well. If it doesn't, then of course let me know in the comments down below, but I'm pretty sure I've got that right. Now, I really don't know what to make of the opening changes within this opening. It was rather weird to say the least. However, could it signal a change in goals for Yuuga? Instead of building that giant robot that hinted at maximum summoning, does he now want to pursue a career in card designing? As his bear does look a bit childish, like possibly a design he did himself. So maybe now he's going into the realms of making his own cards. Because as we know, he printed off the giant robot in the opening when maximums were being hinted at. And now, of course, he prints off this weird bear thing that is running around at the mansion of some fancy building. Or, crazier yet, could this be build a bear summoning? Don't think so. Just thought I'd put that out there for a bit of fun. But what do you think? Why do you think they've changed this in the opening? Let me know your thoughts and theories in the comment section down below. Really interested to hear what you have to say about that. Overall, an okay episode that gave us some very good character interactions. I especially thought the Asana interactions with Rook was really fun and cool, as she seemed to act all high and mighty, believing that she understood Yuuga more, therefore is closer to him, and teased Rook for not being able to understand Yuuga's intentions, despite, of course, Rook being more friendly with Yuuga and being with him longer. But behind all of that, she just wanted to help Rook understand that Yuuga had his friend's best intentions when choosing not to enter this tournament that is coming up. Not a lot of comedy was involved in this episode, which was surprising for a Rook episode. Nevertheless though, it was a good overall episode that was okay, and the comedy that was there a little bit was semi-decent. So let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this episode, and if I missed anything as well. But, of course, I hope you've enjoyed this review nevertheless. Hit a like if you did, really appreciate it if you would, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content in the future. But apart from that, have a great day. Alligator, madane, goodbye.